imposter syndrome.
Oh
So
my god.
the whole thing with this is that, I'm personally may or may not be experiencing it as we speak. But I think everybody has experienced it at some point. So imposter syndrome, for those you don't know, is when you feel as though you don't belong within a group. Like, even though like everything indicates that you would belong, or like there's nothing indicating that you would, on the inside,
Yeah.
you feel different. Have you experienced imposter syndrome, Josh?
Yes, I have. I would say early on in my career I did, but not anymore.
When you say early on, do you mean like currently, or do you
no,
mean
not
like
currently.
really?
Yeah,
So you entered like this
let's say my career path right now is 3 stories. Like three, like bottom,
Oh,
middle,
okay,
and
like a
then
pyramid
top.
scheme.
Yeah, pyramid scheme. Like nearing the middle, I think. Like when I was still like in between the beginner and like where I am now, I did experience some imposter syndrome where I felt
like you shouldn't be in these meetings.
yeah, but now that I feel.
Would you consider yourself senior at this point?
No, I wouldn't say I'm senior, but I'm higher than where I was
Higher
before.
mid.
Yeah, I would say I would say that I'm like mid, but still higher. But at the same
I'd say
time,
mid, yeah.
yes. But I would say that I did have those. It's interesting you mentioned this because I what's it called? I've talked to people that have felt that they feel like they don't deserve to be in the role that they are in.
Really?
But this is in tech, by the way, for a coder. It's a coder that I know that he feels that he is not up to par with the rest of the people, and he feels like he's an imposter, and he's just waiting to get fired, yeah, or like go. I think it's the you don't know them, but it's yeah. But I'm just saying that it's interesting to hear because they put in a lot of work trying to learn more and to grow their professional experience because they don't think that they should be in this role.
They don't think they match what the expectations are of them.
Yes, but I would argue to say that
I think they're like exceeding at that point.
Yeah, I think that it's a lot of I would say it's a lot of internal thought that it's just themselves thinking that. That's my opinion.
Yeah, but I feel like when you're in that situation, it's too real. Like, it's hard to like take an objective point of view. You'd have to like have someone else tell you that like you are fine, but like it's hard for people to just like kind of like tell you these things without knowing, and it's hard to admit that you're going through these feelings.
Yeah,
it was honestly weird for me because like I was at picking up my like desk computer, and the guy like oh yeah, like if you're feeling like you like imposter syndrome, like don't worry about it, man, like everybody's going through it.
What the heck?
And I'm like, huh?
It was like it wasn't even on my mind, but what's happening here?
And I was like, you're speaking to me right now.
Oh my god.
To me.
Oh god.
But I was like, yeah, this guy gets, I mean, like it was definitely like comforting to know that like, even though like the imposter syndrome is like a very like individual thing where like, everybody has their own experience of like why they feel it or like different reasons why they feel it. But like to hear that like, everybody has it. Like he's not even the same thing. He's in IT and he's like saying that like to me like randomly. He's like, oh, it's your first week. Oh, don't worry if you don't like feel like you fit in yet. Like, it'll come. Like give it like some time and you'll feel like you're ready to go. And I'm like, all right.
It's interesting.
All right, random IT guy.
It's interesting to know that I feel like imposter syndrome is, and you guys watching, you guys listening could correct me if I'm wrong. You guys could always comment, but I feel that it's mostly in the professional workplace where people feel the imposter syndrome. You disagree?
Go. I agree, but also disagree.
Okay. Go.
I wouldn't say mostly. I feel like a lot of people is like focused on that, but I feel like when I was in high school or like in college especially, I felt like, man, I do not I don't belong here. Like this is like, I go to class and like I may or may not know, or I know I knew enough to be like decent in the class, but like I felt like I don't belong in this class, you know, like
Yeah.
even though like your academics and like your interest in the topic might not be different than everybody else, but like just based on like your feeling, like man, I honestly didn't feel like I belonged in like in community. So I went from community college to a private school for the rest of my bachelor's degree, but I didn't finish it because I felt like I didn't belong at the private school. The vibe I felt there was like wasn't right. Like, but it honestly might have just been in my head the whole time because like the demographic there, like much more, you know, like higher class, or like, you know, like they had more money than I would have had. So like I didn't feel like I belonged. So like I feel like I personally sabotaged myself, which is really sad to think, but at some point I got through it, and I eventually got my degree, but which I recommend that you probably should get at some point. If you don't have your degree, like it's probably good for you.
You know, there's a lot to unpack here, by the way.
I'm sorry.
No. I'm just it's not a bad thing, and I'm just saying it's not a bad thing. I think that, you know, I know your story for the most part of like your schooling and everything, and I think that you like personally, I think that you might have benefited from talking to someone, be it a counselor, on this subject, because it might have changed things.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do also want to say this, by the way, because I had originally so same as you, it's like I've had a long college. Yeah, I've had a long school, long college, university journey. I do want to say, when originally starting out my schooling journey, is that the counselor discouraged me from pursuing a certain path.
Really?
Yes. So it was very interesting. It's actually very interesting to think of that, because in this sense that they made me feel like I was pursuing the wrong thing, and I was like, yeah, which is crazy. It's crazy to think about. It's like them saying, it's like, I think you're an imposter.
Really?
It's essentially like what it made it sound like.
I feel like that's the opposite of what a counselor should do. Like, you know, you go in there like, hey, I feel this way, and you're like, you should feel that way. You should actually feel worse about yourself.
I had expressed interest in pursuing a certain type of degree, and they only that I actually was. I don't remember. It was such a long. I think it was like IT. I think it was like something. Oh,
really?
IT. Yeah.
I think you could have done it.
I'm
100% sure you could have done it.
Yeah, I think now it's like I probably could have now, yes, like I know for sure that I could get a degree. I know for sure that I'm able to do this, but I let someone else tell me differently, which is crazy, because I think their words were, oh, you only want to do this for the money. I think you want something handed to you. They told me that. Damn. Yeah, they literally told me. It was a counselor.
That's insane. Like I've never heard someone.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Yeah, the counselor is like,
he or she made you an imposter. Like
it was she. It was a she.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. But yes, that's
wild.
It was a wild story, and I think that, you know, I don't think. Because I generally found interest in it, and I find interest in a lot of things, by the way. And just to also say this to the audience and the listeners, I have 2 degrees. I have a fashion degree and I have a finance degree. 2 things that I'm very passionate about. 2 things that I really like. So yeah, 2 things that I really like and I'm passionate about. But there's a bunch of things that I like. But yeah, it was crazy that this counselor said that to me. But it essentially made me feel like I was like
less.
Yes, or an imposter. Like I do want to tie it back to it made me have like an imposter syndrome, where I was like, oh, maybe this isn't the right thing to do.
Maybe that's not where I belong.
Yes.
It's kind of like,
which is it's wild. It's wild thinking back on like this, back on this story and like what had happened, because I don't think a counselor should tell you that.
No, I don't think that's I don't think most people would agree with the way they went about it. You know, like
Yeah.
they could have like shown you statistics or like helped you find that like, oh, your true passion is actually finance for some reason.
Yeah, and I want to say this was at a community college, and it's when I was enrolling, and then I did not enroll in that school.
Oh, really?
No, I did not.
I mean, that was good, I guess.
Yeah, I was like, it probably, if,
Interesting.
yeah, it would have changed if I had met with someone else, but it was crazy. It was crazy, crazy time.
I don't think, I feel like at a community college, they need to be extra supportive.
Yeah.
Weird fact is that like a lot of people just get stuck at community college for years, like just taking random credits, but like I wonder if they had more support, whether they would just continue to pursue like a singular goal versus like this kind of, just taking whatever.
You know, it's interesting that you actually mentioned. I think it's a larger, I feel like it's a larger issue that's affecting a lot more people than what I would think of just having imposter syndrome, because I've heard it from places across the world too, not only in the US but other countries.
Really?
Where people don't feel like they belong in a role and that they're not good enough.
I think that there's also a like disconnect because of how like hiring or recruiting is, like where the threshold for what a job role is becoming higher and higher.
Yeah.
So like you may like think that, but like the people you're with may or may not be like way more senior than you. And like their expectations are much more like, oh, you should know this. Like, well, this is an entry level position. Like entry level is 5 years. Wait, whoa. Entry is 5. Shouldn't it be 0?
It should be 0.
It should be 0. Like entry is 0, right? It's like, no.
That's what the internship is for.
The internship is for 5 years.
Oh God, yeah.
No way. But yeah,
the bar is set so high, I think. But also at the same time, I understand, because I forgot where I read this, but it's like the generation now, well, our generation and Gen Z and like any generation following this is like really highly educated and really highly motivated, where the bar is just going to keep on getting higher.
Yeah, that also ties into the whole kind of like AI thing too, where like now you're expected to perform at the base level, which is already like high, and then you need to either integrate AI and perform even higher, or you get left behind and people consider your work even less, and then you'd be like, well, damn.
It's crazy to think about too that from what I'm hearing, anecdotal or just from my experience, it's like I had heard people say it's like the new standard is the master's degree, and if you don't have a master's degree, then it's like you should probably go and pursue that. But at the same time, these tech companies are saying it's like you don't need a master's degree. But interestingly enough, go on. You go.
I was gonna say like, they're laying everybody off.
Yeah, they are laying everyone off. But I had personally experienced this. Not gonna say who, but a company had told me that they wouldn't hire me. This is when I didn't have a bachelor's degree. They said they wouldn't hire me unless I had a bachelor's degree.
I mean, yeah.
And I was like, that is insane. I had all the skill set, all the requirements that they met.
You were perfect.
I was perfect for the role.
Top candidate,
except for the degree. And
you didn't want to work there anyways.
Yes, I didn't want to work there anyways. This was a long time ago. This was
like a year ago.
No, it was longer than that.
Really?
It was longer than
only a year.
No, it was longer than that.
Well, I guess at this point, probably like a year and some change.
Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't even tell you. Like this whole ties back to my last job, but I.
Yeah. Wait, your last job?
Yeah, my last job. Yeah, my last job.
But swimwear.
Yes, but that's a different, that's a story for something else.
Okay.
But yeah, it's crazy. It makes you think that like things like this make you think that you have to be a certain way
Yeah.
when going into the workplace or the professional roles.
Yeah.
But in reality, I think it's like you're fine.
I think, listen up, viewers. I'm talking to you. Everybody's feeling the exact same thing, even if they're like giving you like shit or like telling you otherwise. I think they're also feeling like either they're feeling it right now or they have felt this feeling themselves. You know, like they didn't go into this role knowing everything. You know, like it took time for them to get to where they are, and they may or may not realize they're giving you as hard of a time as they are.
Yeah.
So like just understand that it's a natural thing that you may or may not feel, and like just realize that like at some point you will get comfortable in your role, and you'll hopefully thrive in your role. So.
I'm 100% sure, especially our listeners.
Yeah, those people,
especially you guys. Oh my god, that hyped me up. I don't know why, but it hyped me up.
Yeah.
But I think that's great. Honestly, it's great. It's honestly, I feel like this is not said enough, and I'm glad you brought this up because I think it's not said enough and not talked about enough. Where I think that you are more than adequate to do your role, be who you are, be the person that you want to be, and I think it's very empowering.
Yeah, I think like as long as you're trying is always the case. Like people may have the skills, but they're not applying them.
Yeah.
But if you're applying yourself and you're trying to acquire the skills, it's worth more, I believe, because you're actively engaged in the thing. Only like on the like most rare occasions that sometimes it just doesn't fit. And sometimes you need to realize that it might just not be the correct fit for you.
Yeah.
But in a lot of cases, in most cases, just keep applying yourself and push through, which is kind of like what I'm doing right now. I'm just like, putting my head down and like, okay, I just got to learn whatever this is. And
I think it takes time. I think it takes time, honestly. And I think time is the best teacher. That's my opinion, to be honest.
Yeah. If you're mad about something, just go to sleep. And then wake up and be fine.
To be fine. Yeah, the thing is, the time passes, by the way. Time passes, things change. You're not the same person who you are before. And, tomorrow's a brand new day, clean slate. There's always room for change. There's a bunch of things I could say about all of this.
Yeah.
But I think it's great. I think it's anyone listening, and even you, Jason, I think that you're more than adequate to do your job, and more than adequate to be as long as you're curious to learn and being or applying yourself, then you'll be good. That's all I gotta say.
You're all right yourself.
Jesus. Oh my God. Okay.
But yeah,
I think that's it. I think that's
been the State of Disarray podcast.
Yes, this has. Oh yeah. Well, let's sign off. Okay. This has been the State of Disarray podcast with your host here, Jason and Josh. And I want to say that if you've liked this video, if you've liked this podcast, make sure you like and subscribe. And I want to say we have a YouTube channel. You guys are probably watching, but if not, we have a YouTube channel. Go check out our YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe. We'll be here next week, and hopefully we've talked about some topics that really you've enjoyed. Or if you have any recommendations, please make sure to leave them in the comments down below. Yeah, but do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, I mean, go out and do great things, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, we'll see you next week. This is Josh and Jason signing off.
Bye.